don't even know how to start. Wait, should I do like a YouTube thing, like, you know, where they sigh and they sit down?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways.
It's too late now.
It's too late. It's tired. Hi everyone, welcome to the final video for the COMM. This issue is called What If, and it's part of volume 5. So I just wanted to, I guess, wrap up the COMM and say final goodbyes, but also tie it into the theme because this volume was about exploring the past, present, and future of Japanese street fashion. So we've kind of landed at the end of the COMM, and I guess now I can look to the future of street fashion. So yeah, we'll be talking about all of that and the COMM and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, but before we get started, I just wanted to turn your attention to what's happening here, because I think like a really important part of the COMM has always been like the Polaroids, and the Polaroid motif has always been very integral to our brand, I guess, and it's part of like capturing what is in the moment without filters, without flair or something. It's just, it is what it is. So I don't know, I just feel like that was important for me to say because that's really integral to the COMM's ethos and what we want to leave behind, and I guess what I look forward to seeing in the future. That's it. That was the beginning. That's the intro done. Yeah. Okay. So volume 1. I had no idea how to run a magazine. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had a mission and it was important, and I had to spread the word of Japanese street fashion. So the first issue was called The Community, because I really just wanted to set the tone of like what this was about. And for me, the community is at the center of it. So the first issue was very nerve-wracking. I didn't know what I was doing, but thanks to the support of everyone, like everyone just really said yes and helped, which was shocking to me. I was like, but I don't know what I'm doing. And at the time, the team was very small. It was just like me. I can't even remember. The team was so small. I think it was just me and like 3 other people, and we were just doing it. So then we did Harajuku Now and Kawaii Revolution, which were issue 2 and 3, which I always get mixed up. Harajuku Now was literally like, I'm gonna show everyone what Harajuku looks like now. Obviously, it was done in 2018, so it's not exactly what it looks like anymore, but I wanted to show that it wasn't just dekore, it wasn't just gyaru, it wasn't just like what you see online. It's like, what does Harajuku actually look like now? So I went and spoke to people I knew who were working in shops and, you know, in the scene, and really tried to capture that kind of essence. And Kawaii Revolution was like, I kind of like what if, it was like, where is it gonna go? Like in the future, just like a little bit further, like where is it gonna go? So yeah, just kind of building on, I don't know, themes that I thought were important. Yeah. So obviously since then, a lot of the shops and brands no longer exist, but that's why I think stuff like this is really important, because we managed to capture something really cool at the time, even though it wasn't that long ago. So for example, something like Fanatic, that was really big, Fanatic magazine run by like bunker students, that was super big and everyone was really into it, and they were hosting events and parties and stuff and everyone was going, and now it's like, it doesn't exist, but it was just such a moment that maybe if we didn't talk about it, maybe it might have been lost or something, you know, so stuff like that is really important. So issue 5 was called Therapy, and I think that's like one of the more controversial issues. Like even from the start, I was like, I'm gonna shake things up. And I think that is the one where I wrote an article about yummy kawaii, and still to this day, this was written like 4 or 5 years ago, still to this day, people are like, we don't agree. But I also thought it was an interesting issue just because it touched on like mental health in Japan as well. So, you know, not just fashion topics, cultural topics, we do all kinds of things. Okay. Okay, that's volume 1 done. So volume 2, the second volume, things started picking up a bit and I kind of understood the direction for where I wanted to go with the magazine. Another issue that is quite surprisingly our most read and most searched is the streetwear one, which is quite unbelievable considering like Japanese street fashion, usually the community is quite kawaii and cute and pink and blah, blah, blah. But we did a streetwear issue because streetwear is like, at the time especially, it was so massive. Like all of Harajuku was just streetwear. So it's not like something we could ignore. And to this day, people, it's our most read articles are streetwear ones. We had some really fun shoots, like we did one dedicated to hats, which was shot entirely in a garage. Is that where they fix cars, in a garage? They were just like, yeah, just go and take pictures in here. We'll like move the tires for you. It was great. And then another one of our controversial articles, so much controversy, was the Lolita wearing sneakers, trainers. So there was a picture taken by Tokyo Fashion of this Lolita wearing trainers, and we wrote about it because it was like, oh my God, those are not appropriate shoes for Lolita. We should talk about it. And it just caused such a ruckus among the Lolita community. Another issue we did was tech, and like cyber styles are a personal favorite of mine. So obviously like we have to do a techie, cybery issue every volume. We spoke to a manager of this shop, this pop-up shop called Relect. She was a gyaru, and her style that she was promoting was called post-gyaru. Super interesting, but never really picked up. But again, glad to have spoken to her because we got like an insider's view into the kind of next stages of gyaru. Like if you think about it, it was like gyaru and then neo-gyaru that happened in like 2014, and then this post-gyaru thing that happened in 2019 that just kind of flopped, and then nostalgic like noughties gyaru just came back. Interesting. One of my first stylings, I styled femme, and it was really crazy because I'd previously gone to see them like live and watch their show as a fan, and then next thing I'm styling them. They remembered me like a year later or something. That was crazy. We also did an issue specifically about the color pink because obviously kawaii culture is associated with the color pink, so we couldn't ignore it. But we had to do it the COMM way, which was just not typical fluffy, girly, feminine pink. It had to be subversive, sometimes not so feminine pink. Also, one of the shoots we shot in Shibuya. And funny story, we shot Meru-chan, Musubareru. It was an apartment complex. I don't know. There was broken glass. There was one door open. There was a foul stench coming out of this apartment. But it was completely pink, and there were vintage posters and stuff lying around. So we had to do a shoot in there, despite it being very scary. And it looked great, so no regrets. Then our issue for Slice of Life has my favorite shoot ever. We actually shot the entire team of the COMM, like everyone who was in Tokyo and part of the COMM at the time, we shot them. And it was just so hilarious. It was just so ridiculous. No one was a model, and the whole idea was like to reenact The Office. And it had the best result with like the subtitles pretending we're on the show and everyone just having a really good time and just being silly, and throwing paper in the air and throwing pens and using stationery as accessories. I don't know, I like those kind of shoots where it's just a bit silly. But yes, the corporate kawaii shoot, again, another one of my stylings. We had an amazing nail artist contribute, and she made like nails just for the shoot that were like this long, and each one was a different like office style thing. So one was a ruler, one was a pencil, one had staples stapled. It was crazy. Like one was a keyboard. So talented, so talented. I've worked with so many talented people. It's been a wild ride. Another one of my faves. Fun fact about me, I love trains. Yeah, I do, genuinely. Like ever since I moved to Japan, I just became a train otaku. I've been train spotting.
What's your favorite train?
My favorite train, they're all good for different reasons. Like if you want, there was one point where I did this like revival of like a tradition, like a 1920s train, like lamps, and the design was so good. There's ones further out, like the Adventure Line. I think it's like the Adventure Line, like when you go further out, it's like some really good trains. I love good trains. The point is, I like trains, and we found a bar that is train themed. So one of the shoots we did was like before and after work, you know, the typical like Japanese thing where they go to work in the morning and get pushed on the train, everyone's smothered and everyone's sad or whatever. But we tried to make like a fashion fun thing of it. So if you look at that shoot, no one knows we didn't actually shoot it on the train. It was just in a bar. Done. Volume 2 done. Moving on to volume 3, this is where the comm really started to like get in its stride. I knew what I wanted to do. I really wanted to push the themes and make every issue like stand out. And I think volume 3 really achieved it with like the themes, but definitely in terms of finding interesting backgrounds and where to shoot to really push the visuals was materials. Especially with Sakuran's shoot, we shot in a tire park, which had they had like just gigantic tires and a Godzilla made out of tires. It was insane. I think there was a robot made out of tires. It was really crazy. We wanted to shoot like an apocalyptic kind of look. And we had kids running and staring at us the whole time because we went on a Sunday and that's when kids go out to play. But that's when shoots happen, so you just gotta deal with it. We also shot in an art gallery. We shot on a beach in the middle of Tokyo, and I'm so sorry to my model Yuka who froze, but the pictures look fantastic. That was for Mermaid. Had her wrapped up all in plastic to signify like the devastation of plastic on the environment. You know, she's a literal mermaid, you know, just kind of like this. For me, like one of the great things to come out of the comm was really like the feedback and people saying they've been inspired by the comm. So we actually featured someone called Brittany Glassy, who I later worked with for volume 5, which is crazy. But she was inspired by our Satellite Young shoot from the previous volume, and she created her own TV head inspired by that shoot. And so when she came to Tokyo, we met up and we chatted, and it was just really nice to know like what an impact the magazine was having on the international community. The next issue, Revival, I think was definitely our most popular because that's when I really leaned into like the nostalgia, gyaru, dekora, you know, super kawaii, typical image kind of thing. But it was really nice to do that. Like for a while I was like, I'm gonna be controversial, I'm gonna be contrary, I'm not gonna do the normal thing. But this time I was like, no, I'm just gonna shoot Black Diamond. I'm just gonna like shoot them, and they were so good. Like no direction, just amazing. It was shot on film, and still people think that shoot was actually shot in the 90s. No, it was shot like 2019 or something. It looks legit, is what I'm saying. So I also basically got to cosplay as Zendaya for like our Euphoria shoot, and Sepha was Hunter Schafer's character, Jules. Again, very fun, very cold, but very fun. Kind of mixed with like Western and influences, using like Japanese fashion in there because Jules' character is inspired a lot by Japanese fashion. So that was really fun to do. So Revival was very much like Showa, Heisei, Reiwa, and now we're in Reiwa and we're doing this whole what if thing. And I can't identify Reiwa style. But you know, there's more Reiwa to come, I think, I hope. Yeah, so we did Showa, Heisei, Reiwa in that issue and trying to capture like Reiwa style. And it's just so funny how the Reiwa style imagined isn't exactly like where it's going, I think. But you know, fashion changes, maybe we'll see some trends coming in, or I don't know. Honestly, cannot tell you. I've tried the whole trend prediction thing. I don't know. And then boom, the pandemic hit, COVID hit, and we couldn't really do shoots anymore. And I was stuck in the UK, which was like super fun. So that's when we had to take a whole different approach to everything, like articles, shoots, everything, the topic. We had to change, we had to scrap the whole issue that we had planned. But it worked out. And again, the community pulled through for us. Everyone was willing to do shoots at home and send them to us to edit and do interviews and really step up. Like that was when I really saw the community like come through again for us as they usually do. So thank you to everyone who participated in that issue.
Who is your favorite character in Euphoria?
Oh, Cassie probably. Volume 4 was like a fantasy themed volume in its entirety from start to finish. There were like visual cues for like Disney princesses and Disney tropes and princess tropes and stuff. So I don't know if you picked up on that, but if you did, good for you. So the first issue was actually issue 0, and it was called Leaders. And we spoke to Masada Sebastian, my old boss when I used to work at 6%, and also Shinohara Tomoe, who is like the icon of Decora. And it was so good to speak to both of them to get these two perspectives on what is the origin of Decora. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still not satisfied with the answer. But that's the thing with fashion, like there is no singular point where we can say, okay, at this time, this date, this is where it started, because everyone's going to have their own idea, and everyone has their own influences. But from what they said, I have a better understanding of how it came about, definitely. So you should read the interviews if you're interested. And also for the shoots, I collaborated with 2 other stylists, Domi and Pio, and so we all dressed up our models completely differently. So we had the fairy godmother of Kawaii, the fairy godmother of Rebellion, and the fairy godmother of Community, I think that's what it was. So basically we had a pink one, a purple one, and a yellow one. And it was really fun to work with like so many people and do like, it was the start of like the big shoot productions for us. So it was really like the establishing of the comm was like volume 4, I think. So our first issue was Idol. We talked about like the idol industry, which I don't have an in-depth knowledge of. So we reached out to people who are really into idols and know a lot more about it than I do. So we had a great fan perspective. We got it for someone who's actually in like part of the idol industry, like what they do, what a typical day being an idol is. It was really cool. Because obviously like idol has like a really cute image, but also there's that underbelly of the idol, so we had to explore both. And I got my models to wear some super impractical dresses. There were 2 particularly impractical ones. The one for, what's the shoot called, where she's holding the mic, please insert photo. That was super impractical, but it was so fluffy and lovely. And the other dress was for Fashion Monster. We shot in an artist's house, and it was the most dangerous location I've ever been on in my life. This man had created a house that was pink and beautiful, and you go inside and the door is this small, and the dress was a hoop skirt, and to try and shove her through the door, and then to go to the second floor, there were stairs, but the stairs were like this far apart and there were gaps in between. So we had to crawl up the steps, which was so fun and dangerous. And she had a hoop skirt, and it was just, it was a whole thing. And then to come down, you had to slide on your butt to go down the stairs and hope you don't fall through the stairs. And then we're like, okay, let's shoot on the bottom floor on an elephant sculpture that he had. And the floor under the elephant was broken glass. I don't know why he did that. That was a choice. but the pictures turned out great. Again, very dangerous. So don't recommend going there. Another super dangerous shoot. The Idol's full of danger. That's all I'm saying. Was for the Amura shoot where I had to run into the middle of the road of Shibuya Crossing with a suitcase. And if you've been to Shibuya Crossing, you know there's thousands of people trying to cross. So me battling with a suitcase is not a good idea, but we did it and it came out great. The following issues, like Love, Adore, I really loved that one. It was just very cute, talking about themes of like White Day and Valentine's Day, and starting to include more styles that weren't exactly Japanese street fashion, like lovecore. And then Anti-Hero was kind of the complete opposite. It was like the rebellious spirit that's really embodied by Japanese street fashion. That was really fun. And again, more Western influences. I think I did a Billie Eilish influence shoot. And another shoot that I particularly liked was called Most Embarrassing Behavior. And if you've been in the comm for long enough, you know that is an essential quote, an essential thing to know. It's a quote from Aoki Misako from a YouTube video where it's like the rules of Lolita, like what you can and can't do. And she was like, this is most embarrassing behavior. So we did a shoot based around that. And then the final issue for that one was called Happily Ever After. So that really brought like the community back to the comm, because sometimes it feels like, you know, it was taking away from what the true part was. So I just kind of stripped it all down, took it all back to basics, interviewed people in their own clothes as they are, just with a few fun props, just literally in my kitchen, just a whole kitchen shoot. And talked about them and their fashion and what they do and why they want to create. And yeah, it was lovely. So now we come to the final issue, volume 5. It's weird to talk about it, but I have to talk about it. I'm like, oh, I'm sad, but it's okay. So the first issue we had was called Nostalgia Ultra. I think a lot of the conversation about Japanese street fashion is like, why do you wear that? And where did it come from? And who started? And what's the influence? And so I see a lot of people online saying, do your research about, you know, the topic, but it's hard to find these resources. So I challenged my team. I was like, we gotta make the resource. We gotta do it. So I'm really proud of like what we did and what they wrote. I was very rigorous with them, as I usually am, because I want to get it right. But they did really well. And so if you're interested in the history of certain styles, please check it out online. And we did 2 shoots that I really wanted to capture sort of the essence of the 90s. So one was like very like rebellious school kids, like, I don't know, just there's like a moment in the 90s where girls were just like, yeah, we're not gonna follow the rules anymore. So that, and then there was another one based on Nana, the manga. So I tried to style it according to like the 2 Nana characters. That was maybe my favorite styling that I've done. And a lovely team to work with. I don't really know what to say about these apart from just I love it. Like, I love doing shoots. For the second issue, Imagram, we did this video called Who Killed Harajuku, where I had this concept in my mind for so long, and to actually see it come to life was crazy. It was actually crazy. We did storyboarding, like we had meetings with Maddie, our photographer, and I don't know why I decided to do styling for like 9 people. I was like, this is fine. It was not fine. It was not fine. But it came together so well, and it got the message out that I wanted to say, which was, yes, Harajuku has changed. Yes, it's not what it was, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. And it was really inspired by the article where they quoted Shoichi Aoki to say, like, there are no more cool kids. The uproar, like, oh my God, Harajuku is dead, you know, from that. I had to do something. And that was my answer to that And I think that's probably one of the best things I've ever created. So please watch it on YouTube. It was 2 days of mania, blood, sweat, and tears, and running and screaming and shouting and doing things, but it was so worth it. I love it. Yeah. So my final thoughts are, what's coming? Honestly, I don't know, but these are my thoughts. I think that nostalgia is going strong and will forever go strong. We've seen it come back in different forms in Y2K or whatever, no matter the platform, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, even though these are forward-looking platforms, the fashion seems to always be in the retrospective. I think that the community hopefully will have a comeback. I've seen it waning. I've seen I don't know, I don't feel like the community spirit as much as before. And I really hope it comes back because it's really what makes this subculture, this thing so special. And I think the image of Harajuku will last forever. No matter how many shops close or brands or something, I think people will continue to discover and rediscover Harajuku as it was, as it currently is or something. I don't know, it's kind of an enduring image that will be stuck in your mind forever. So I guess to wrap up, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's supported the COMM over the past 5 years, and all your comments, all your words of support have meant a lot, because this has been a lot to do. It's taken over my life and I need a break. I need to sit down. But it's been really enjoyable, clearly, otherwise I wouldn't be here talking about how fun all the shoots were. And I want to say a big thank you to my team. I know I've said it, to them a million times already, in private, but I just want to give a big public thank you to them, because this would not have been possible. You've made all the resources accessible to everyone in so many different languages, written all the articles where it's just being used as resources for people. I know people are using our articles in their schoolwork, which is crazy. I've seen it, online come up linked to Google Classroom. I'm like, thanks, we are a trusted resource. So thank you to the writers for that. And to all the people I've worked with for shoots and helping my creative brain, my creative juices come to life. I know some of my concepts are insane, but that's what makes this so fun. It's crazy, it's silly. It's what fashion is about, just having fun and being yourself and being expressive, and that's what this community is about. I just want to end by saying thank you to everyone, and I don't know, what do I say? I'm going to end this by saying thank you to everyone for supporting us, and please continue supporting all the creatives in the other endeavors. I will also be going back to the UK and probably doing another creative thing, and support small business, obviously, and support your community. So thank you. Bye.